The Halloween Showdown by Eileen Ross. Grandmother Cat sat nestled among the cornstalks, sewing the final touches on her granddaughter's Halloween costume. "Come, take a look," she called to Tabitha, who frolicked in the nearby pumpkin and squash. But before Tabitha could reply, out of the north there came a horrendous screech. Grandmother struggled to her feet, yelling, "Run, Tabitha, run! It's Grizorka, the witch!" She hobbled toward the edge of the garden as fast as her old arthritic legs could carry her. But prickled old Grizorka had already swooped down and captured Tabitha. "Don't worry," shouted Grandmother. "I'll save you." "Why, you're nothing but a feeble old granny cat," cackled Grizorka, clutching Tabitha as she flew through the trees. "You'll save nothing but your breath, and I have a new Halloween cat." At that moment, the grandmother declared war on Grizorka the witch. She stripped the garden scarecrow of his faded jacket and quickly dressed for battle. The sleeves were a bit long, but she managed to fasten all the brass buttons, except, of course, for the one that was missing. Next, she split a round orange pumpkin. She scooped out the seeds, then cut 2 ear holes in one of the halves. She placed the pumpkin helmet on her head and made a fat kettle drum with the other half. Grandmother thought that soldiers heading off to war should always carry drums to hammer out a marching beat. Finally, she fashioned a spear out of cornstalk. She armed the spear with her sharp sewing needle, then headed north, banging the drum as she went. Thub, 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 a dub, dub. Thub, 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 a dub, dub. Grandmother soon met a hairy-legged spider perched high in the crook of a tree. "Where to, old puss?" asked Spider. "I'm off to make war on Grizorka the witch, for she has stolen my darling kit." Spider slid down the tree, her silver thread on anchoring rope. "Grizorka is a thief who steals my beautiful webs, especially at Halloween. I'll help you make war on the witch." So Grandmother and Spider marched north, banging the drum as they went. Thub, 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 a dub, dub. Thub, 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 a dub, dub. Presently they came to a pond. "Where to, old puss?" asked Frog, who had dug himself into the mud. "I'm off to make war on Grizorka the witch, for she has stolen my darling kit." Frog hauled himself out of the mud. "Grizorka kidnapped my 7 brothers and 12 sisters to simmer in her Halloween stew. I'll help you make war on the witch." So Grandmother, Spider, and Frog marched north, banging on the drum as they went. Thub, 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 a dub, dub. Thub, 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 a dub, dub. Soon they arrived at the edge of Grizorka's woods. A sudden flap of wings caused them all to jump and scatter. "Who goes there?" asked a furry black bat hanging upside down in a tree. After proper introductions were made, Bat asked, "Where to, old puss?" "I'm off to make war on Grizorka the witch, for she has stolen my darling kit." Bat stretched his wings. "Grizorka teaches everyone to be afraid of bats, even though we keep insects from becoming a nuisance. That nasty old crone has ruined my reputation. I'll help you make war on the witch." "Come along then," said Grandmother, "but be quiet. Grizorka's house is nearby." They all sneaked through the forest so Grizorka wouldn't hear them coming. Thub, 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 a dub, dub. Thub, 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 a dub, dub. Now Grandmother didn't want the witch to know how large her army had become. So one by one she ushered Spider, Frog, and Bat into the pockets of her jacket. Then she tiptoed toward Grizorka's tumble-down hut. As she peeked in through the window, her nose began to twitch. Apparently the witch had sprinkled too much pepper in the Halloween stew. Grandmother let loose with a tree-rattling "Kit, kit, kitty, ka-choo!" Before Grandmother could whisper, "Bless my whiskers," Grizorka captured her and tossed her into a deep black hole, chanting, "Down you go, and there you'll stay. You should have known to keep away." And with a hideous cackle, she was gone. Grandmother leaped and clawed, trying to escape, but the hole was much too deep. How will I save Tabitha when I can't even save myself? Grandmother asked. Don't fret, old puss, replied Spider, inching up the dirt wall. I have a plan. Spider quickly set to work doing what spiders do best. Before long, she had spun an intricate silver web. Not only was the web beautiful, it was strong. Grandmother grabbed hold of the silken ladder and climbed up, and out of the deep black hole. Again she crept toward the witch's hut and peeked inside. She saw Tabitha holding open a heavy cookbook titled Goose, Brews, and Nasty Stews. As Grizorka added ingredients to her cauldron, a sad little meow escaped Grandmother's lips. Before she could whisper catnip and clover, Grizorka captured her and locked her inside an iron cage, chanting, She was trapped in a pit and somehow got free. It won't happen again if she can't find the key. Grizorka hurled the key into a murky lake where it sank out of sight. Grandmother rattled and clattered the bars, but she was locked up as tight as a secret. What now? Asked Frog, peeking out of her pocket. How will I save Tabitha when I can't even save myself? Grandmother asked. Don't fret, old puss, replied Frog, squeezing between the bars. He hopped toward the water's edge, and with a quick, quiet splash, he dived into the muck on the bottom. He came up for air 3 times, and on the 4th try, Frog was carrying the key. Grandmother unlocked the cage and sneaked back toward the witch's hut. She didn't see Grizorka or Tabitha, but she did see Frog's brothers and sisters huddled together, waiting to be added to the Halloween stew. At that exact moment, Grandmother was freeing the frogs. Grizorka thundered into the hut. Her hideous scream sent Frog scuttling this way and that. Again, Grizorka captured Grandmother. She led her into a deep black cave, chanting with fury, How Granny escapes is a mystery to me, but not from this tomb will she ever break free. Grizorka's cackle caused a huge boulder to crash down and close off the cave's opening. Trapped inside, Grandmother pushed and shoved, but she knew she would never be able to rescue Tabitha now. Tears? Asked Bat, slipping out of Grandmother's pocket. We're trapped tight this time, sniffled Grandmother. The rock's too heavy, and I can't see in the dark. I might as well be blind. Don't fret, old puss, said Bat. Blind's not bad for the likes of me. I'll use my radar to find a way out. Just stay close and follow my voice. Bat led Grandmother through dark, twisted tunnels until he discovered the back door of the cave. Driven by love for Tabitha and heartened by the help of loyal friends, Grandmother marched straight back to Grizorka's hut. Thub, thub, thub-a-dub-dub. Thub, thub, thub-a-dub-dub. She meant business and didn't care who knew it. When Grizorka spotted Grandmother and her brave army marching toward her, she chanted in anguish, I've battled a cat who has 9 lives and she's only used up 3. Love for her kit runs deep and strong. She's too great a match for me. Screaming through the woods, Grizorka flew, never to be heard from again. After a warm hug, Grandmother hurried Tabitha home. They arrived with just enough time for Tabitha to slip into her Halloween costume. And didn't she look fine as she opened the door to all the guests? She greeted Spider, who brought decorations, all fine and lacy. She welcomed Frog, who brought his family, all prepared to make music. And she welcomed Bat, who flew in with an enormous tray of treats. Grandmother, Tabitha, and all their friends danced and sang long into the night. Together they had turned a scary Halloween showdown into a fun-filled Halloween hoedown. The